What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Wednesday, March 9th. Now, we are finally starting to get some news, some updates on what is actually going on with Congress and really our economy. So in today's video, I'm going to give you a little bit of a stimulus update. We're going to talk about the political nightmare that Democrats are currently facing due to the fact that gas prices keep on increasing. There's a high likelihood that inflation will rise tomorrow morning. And I also want to dive into a stock market update as well, because we're getting some updates from financial experts who are highly recommending a certain thing right now. So if you have any questions on anything that I talk about in today's video, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Before I get into the update, I ask two things. First thing I want to ask is, if you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. The second thing that I ask is down in the comment section, and this isn't just on this channel, it's on almost every single financial channel out there. There's going to be a bunch of spam comments that people want you to message them on WhatsApp. A lot of them are going to use the YouTube channels, the creator's face, whether it's my face, or somebody, Graham Stephan, or Andre Jake, or whatever, right? Doesn't matter. But what you need to understand is those are scams. They're trying to just take money from you, or have you pay them in some type of cryptocurrency. I will never ask you to do that, okay? So do not fall for those. That's the second thing I just wanted to say, but let's get into the update. Currently, Democrats are bracing for the political nightmare that is about to come, because the American people are just waiting. We've been waiting for a while for the Biden administration to do something to help lower gas prices and bring inflation back down to more manageable levels. I'm pretty sure you've seen this over the past year. Gas prices just keep going up and nothing seems to stop them. And now it's getting even worse. Currently, gas prices are expected to rise even faster, and inflation is not expected to drop anytime soon. And Democrats know that banning Russian oil imports is a very risky move, but they say that is the best chance of stopping Russia from continuing their invasion into Ukraine, or possibly worse. Okay? So here's what we can look forward to this week. Currently, gas prices are sitting at $4.25 a gallon nationwide here in the United States. Yesterday, it was $4.17. Last week, it was $3.65. So we have actually increased by 60 cents in just 7 days. So if we use the exact same math, 60 cents added to $4.25, we will be at $4.85 per gallon in 7 days from today, which would be on the 16th. Now, we know that Bloomberg is already predicting inflation tomorrow is going to rise to its fastest levels in 41 years. We're currently at 7.5%. A survey of economists predict that we will be at 7.8% from a year before. This is coming out tomorrow morning. The biggest worry right now isn't this month's CPI report, okay, which actually shows for February. It's going to be March's report, okay, which doesn't come out until April. That's going to be even scarier according to multiple economists. So we'll see what happens there. Here's another really scary thing that I want you to consider, and it's really the government funding. Currently, the United States government would be required to shut down on Saturday morning if Congress can't come to an agreement on the government funding bill. Now, we did learn this morning that House lawmakers have finally agreed to include $13.6 billion for Ukraine in the omnibus bill. Now, the reason why I say finally include this, because this has been an ask for a couple weeks, but we have already been seeing that there's $1.5 trillion that's set aside for this package, which is going to include increased funding for U.S. defense and also non-defense programs. The package would appropriate $730 billion in non-defense spending, which is about $46 billion more than fiscal year 2021. The package would also appropriate $782 billion for defense spending, which is an increase of about $42 billion over 2021. This bill also includes $15.6 billion to combat the pandemic as well. Now, this is obviously less than the $22.5 billion that was originally proposed by President Biden, but this is what they have concluded, that this is what they're coming to. Here's the interesting part, though. This bill also states that $15.7 billion will be returned to the Treasury from previously appropriated COVID response bills. So they're pulling back $15.7 billion, and then they're giving an additional $15.6 billion to combat the pandemic. Interesting. Now, Congress is likely to vote on a stopgap bill, and just keep this in mind. Okay, right now, Congress has, and President Biden, they have until Friday at midnight, okay, Eastern Standard Time, to pass this omnibus bill, or else the government will shut down. They expect they won't reach that. They're not going to get there, okay? They would be late. So Congress is likely to vote on a stopgap bill that would fund the government at least until March 15th, okay? So additional like 4 or 5 days. And the reason for this is to avoid a potential or possibly partial shutdown. So right now, Congress expects the omnibus bill is going to actually take several days to work its way through Congress, which is normal. So just understand, we may see a short-term continuing resolution, right? A little short-term bill, push us out maybe another 5 to 10 days, but the expectation is the omnibus bill will ultimately pass, but it would most likely not pass until next week, all right? So just keep that in mind as if you see reports that the omnibus bill isn't passing. It's true, it's probably not going to pass this week, but it will pass soon after. Now, financial experts believe now is the most opportune time to begin investing into the stock market. And if you guys have been following my channel for some time, you know, or you may have seen that I bought a lot of airline stocks back in 2008, 2009, right around that area, right? 2010, 11. It was a great time because everything was just so low. Well, many financial experts believe that stocks have seen record drops in their prices, but the overall profitability of the companies remains strong. So they are arguing that once this conflict with Russia and Ukraine is over, the markets are going to come roaring back. The supply chain is slowly getting fixed. COVID is going away. And with the knowledge of where the Federal Reserve is turning, how high they're going to increase rates, what inflation is going to look like, this is going to be a clear sign to push more money back into the markets. And this is what I've been saying for about a month or two, is that we're going to have these very volatile markets over the next couple months, really until March 16th. And so again, that's 7 days away, right? Next week, we're going to know what the Federal Reserve is going to decide to do. The chances are they're going to raise rates 0.25. That's fine. That's what the markets are pricing in. And so if it's 0.5, the markets are probably going to sell off. If it's anything more, if it's 1, right? Well, we'll see what happens there. But this is the thing that I want you to understand, is that financial experts say now is a good time. And remember that story that I said when I was buying airline stocks, I was buying financials, I was buying Citigroup, I was buying all the banks, all these different things, right? Back in 2008, 9, 10, 11. Well, I was able to not just double my money, not just triple my money. I more than 10x my money. Okay? More than 10x my money within like 4 to 5 years. And I was able to do that by just investing and sitting on that, not trading it. And so now financial experts are saying this is the time to do that. So if you want to jump in, you can actually get 5 free stocks. I'll put a link down in the description box below. You can sign up through an app called Webull. It's a very easy app to use. It's one of the ones that I'm constantly using. But yes, you do get 5 free stocks. All you got to do is deposit any amount of money. It could be $1, $5, $1 million. You still get 5 free stocks. Now, let's talk about Social Security for a second. Because many people are asking, how likely is it that Social Security will get an increase? Well, I want to address that. But first, before we do that, we need to make sure that we're on the same page as lawmakers. And here's what lawmakers are saying. Lawmakers state that Social Security was never intended to be the sole income of a retiree. It was created as more of a supplemental income that would account for about 40% of the retirees' needed income. The other 50 to 60% should come from things like savings, earnings, pensions, and even other retirement accounts. But lawmakers say, sadly, we've gone away from that, and most Americans now rely solely on Social Security as their main income source. And not to mention that the IRS, they take some of your benefits if your provisional income is over $25,000 as an individual, or $32,000 if you're a couple filing jointly. So, now that we're on the same page, let's address where a raise to Social Security would likely come from. Because right now, the $200 per month increase that President Biden promised during his campaigning, that's not even being discussed, as this would deplete the funds for Social Security much faster than originally anticipated. But we also know that President Biden wants to see Congress put together legislation to fix Social Security. But he has one caveat. We cannot raise taxes on people making less than $400,000 per year. And this is where the problem lies. Congress has a bunch of different options. They can do a bunch of different things. But the problem is when you throw in the requirement that people making less than $400,000 per year can't pay anything more in taxes, it creates multiple challenges. Now, this really creates a challenge, especially because the different ideas that are currently out there, the different proposals, even when you look at the Social Security 2100 Act, right, the Sacred Trust, this is the one that got the most support. But this bill would raise the Social Security tax cap above the current rate of $142,800, which would mean people would pay more in taxes that are making less than $400,000. Now, this would also provide more funding to Social Security, which would mean it would be easier to then go and increase benefits to recipients. The problem is we can't increase benefits to recipients because the one thing that's causing, preventing more money to going into the system is President Biden's demand of nobody making less than $400,000 per year will see a penny more in taxes. But that's kind of what has to change. That's the issue. But again, it goes against President Biden's one rule, he doesn't want to raise taxes. And right now, anything coming from a stimulus package to help Social Security recipients is highly unlikely as well. Mainly due to the fact that everybody is looking at different things. But the main thing is inflation and gas prices. Now I know you're thinking, well, if I'm on a fixed income, how can I afford rising gas prices or really live in a world with such high inflation if I don't have much money? So, instead of giving the American people additional money to survive off of, what lawmakers are planning on doing is providing more tax incentives. That's it. Tax cuts. Well, you pay for this, we'll give you a little bit extra back, right, at the end of the year. That's the issue that we're seeing now is lawmakers are changing what they've been asking for. So really no stimulus, right? Really no stimulus for today. But we could see, yes, you can see additional tax cuts and incentives and all these provisions, but that come to the tax code, which wouldn't be impacted until next year when you file your 2022 tax return, which you'd file in 2023. So do you see the issue there? Is the benefits that we might get, the stimulus that we might not see it until we get taxes back next year, if you do get anything back in taxes. So again, major issues there. But one thing I can tell you is that as we move forward, and whatever we see, I don't know, but as we move forward, what we are likely to experience is tougher times. I think that's what everybody has kind of concluded, and they come to that realization. We're going to see tougher times. Whether you are a low-income earner, you are a high-income earner, doesn't matter. You will see tougher times. But the lower-income earners, they're going to have the toughest of times, mainly because everything is getting more expensive. Now, one thing I was asked the other day is now a good time to go and buy an electric vehicle? And I want to address this really quick before I get into the little bit of Russia and Ukraine news. But I was asked this the other day should I go and buy an electric vehicle? And here's what I want to say. If you can buy, let's say you have a gas guzzler, right? Doesn't matter what it is, you're driving a Hummer, right? You get 12 miles to the gallon. Maybe it would be a good idea to buy an electric vehicle. But here's the thing. Right now, in times of uncertainty, we don't know what's going to happen. What I would say is having flexibility, okay? Having money on the side, savings, paying off debt, right? All great things. Having money invested, where that if we do continue to see a lot of inflation, hopefully your money increases, right? You get a little bit more. You're invested into the right things. Okay? So, is it a good idea to go and buy an electric vehicle right now when prices for electric vehicles have gone up, but gas prices have gone up, right? Here's the other issue, and this is something that I pointed out to many people yesterday, is what if your electric vehicle has issues? Could you get it fixed? And if it takes a week or 2 weeks in the shop, do you have something else to drive? That's the other issue. We're seeing supply chain shortages of certain products, certain items to fix certain vehicles. So if that's the case, could you wait an additional couple weeks and not have a car? Or do you have something else that you can drive? All right? Just wanted to touch on that really quick, just because I know a few people have been asking in the comments. I got a bunch of emails yesterday asking pretty much the exact same thing though. So just wanted to address that. But I just got a little bit of Russia and Ukraine news that the Ukrainian minister puts war damage of infrastructure at around $10 billion in Ukraine. This includes things like communication towers, bridges, roads, and so much more. We also know that Russia continues to battle. They're trying to take control of more cities. People in Ukraine are still trying to get out. It's a very, very delicate situation right now, but that's currently what we know. There's a lot of very sad images that you're going to see. I'm not going to post them here because they are pretty sad. They're tough to watch. Some are very graphic, but you will see those online. You will see those. Even the mainstream media is showing those on TV, in newspapers, which is crazy. You're not just seeing body bags. You're seeing bodies, which again, it's crazy, but that's currently the times that we're living in. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.